All right, Bulls fans, we got a major injury update, at least for a role player for the Chicago Bulls, as Torrey Craig has been diagnosed with acute sprain of his right plantar fascia. And so that means he is going to be out for up to 2 months, 4 to 6 weeks. Torrey Craig is going to miss for the Chicago Bulls. That's an extended period of time. This also means that Torrey Craig is probably going to be out well past the trade deadline as well, or at least close up to that, which means that he may not be available to be included in any Zach LaVine trade. Not to say that we necessarily wanted to trade him, but that could take an asset off the board for the Chicago Bulls. Torrey Craig has been playing relatively well for the Chicago Bulls. He's been up and down in some moments, as with every role player. But this is a big miss now for the Chicago Bulls and Torrey Craig. This is a guy who came in, he understood his role. He pushed Patrick Williams for a starting position at points in time. And then when you look at, as well as how he's played over the last month, in the month of December, he's averaged 9.6 points per game, doing that on 48% shooting from the field and 53% shooting from three-point range, taking 5.5 three-pointers per game. This is not just easy production to replace for the Chicago Bulls when Torrey Craig is on, and especially what he's been able to bring defensively and help Patrick Williams with guarding some of those other power forwards. Now, does this mean that maybe the Chicago Bulls do look to bring in a Julian Phillips and maybe use him a little bit more? Dalen Terry's already stepped in and been getting more minutes with the absence of Torrey Craig, but this is a big miss now for the Chicago Bulls to be missing a player in Torrey Craig who they just don't have a lot of players that match up with the same size and athleticism that he brings as well as defense and veteran leadership. Now, the Bulls did get a win against the Philadelphia 76ers without Torrey Craig. We've also seen the team play pretty well without him at times, but as we're trying to get that bench into a better position, now missing Torrey Craig, adding that to already missing Zach LaVine, and Alex Caruso's health, who's kind of gone up and down, even though he played 31 minutes against the Philadelphia 76ers as well, this could be a big miss for the Chicago Bulls. Now, the Bulls do theoretically have other players that they can use. Terry Taylor's down there, even though he hasn't played a lot of minutes. He's a really good rebounder. That's basically the most of what he brings. He can score a little bit as well. But I've looked at it like this. You got Dalen Terry, who clearly Billy Donovan feels comfortable using while Torrey Craig has been out the last couple of games. But this is maybe puts Julian Phillips in a prime position to show what he's been bringing at the G League level and just now bringing it to the NBA level, albeit in a role-playing role. So Billy Donovan's going to have to make some decisions on how that rotation is now going to shake out for the Chicago Bulls with Torrey Craig being out. He does offer size. Even Dalen Terry, who we know that we've known for a while, AK has kind of envisioned Dalen Terry as being this combo forward who can do some passing and ball handling, but he just doesn't bring the shot blocking, the rebounding, either that or Julian Phillips has. As you guys can tell, kind of have my own proclivity of who I would like to see step into those minutes for Torrey Craig. Doesn't mean it's necessarily going to go that way. We've seen it, like I've said before, with Billy Donovan being really comfortable going to Dalen Terry pretty consistently here in the last couple of games, albeit with only like 10 minutes per game. Torrey Craig was playing more than that. We've seen this rotation shrink up quite a bit as well in the recent games for the Chicago Bulls. Now, that's because Alex Caruso was out. Then Torrey Craig was out. So maybe we just see we see Billy Donovan kind of go to a more traditional set that he runs of 8 to 9 players. But even if you look outside of that, Dalen Terry already has played in 12 games so far this season, averaging 6.5 minutes per game. But the key thing is the last few games he's had so far in the month of December, he's played in 6 games, and 4 of those 6 games he's played double-digit minutes. So that may be a sign that Billy Donovan will use Dalen Terry, who is 6'7", right around 200 pounds now, even though he's still listed as 195. He's added quite a bit of muscle down his time in the G League over the last 2 seasons. But let me know what you guys think. When you hear now that Torrey Craig is going to be out upwards of 2 months, 2.5 months, maybe even as much as 3 months, depending on what the recovery and rehab time is after he does that and getting back in rhythm, well, do you think that Dalen Terry is going to continue to get those minutes, or do you think Billy Donovan may look to go to a little bit more size and using Julian Phillips or Terry Taylor? Could something outside the box go to Adama Sanogo, who's been really killing it down at the G League level as well? Some options there for Billy Donovan to use. We kind of know it's probably going to be a lot of small ball in that as well, so look out for that also. But this is a big miss for the Chicago Bulls. Torrey Craig has been playing pretty better, more times good than not, averaging 21 minutes per game for the Chicago Bulls. So even Dalen Terry's additional 10 minutes that he's been playing, that still is going to leave 11 more minutes to be spread out amongst the other players. Now, that could also be something good. We've seen Javon Carter play better in last game. That gets a little bit more minutes for Io. Maybe him and Javon Carter can play. That's an extremely small lineup if you just give them more minutes. but you would like to think that Billy Donovan's going to try to find some size in that. But right now, emergency update, Torrey Craig is going to be missing upwards of about 2 months. He's going to be out. Safe and quick recovery for Torrey Craig. We hope to get him back as soon as possible, but this is a big loss for the Chicago Bulls. Don't overlook it just because the numbers and the stat sheet doesn't jump out at you. Torrey Craig's been playing a big role for the Bulls, and we'll see how they can overcome that. We'll see. But make sure you guys are following the show at Bull Central Pod. You can send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns, bullcentralpod@gmail.com. And then lastly, if you want to leave a text message and our voicemail, number to do so, 773-270-2799. We are the number one spot for everything Chicago Bulls related, thanks to you guys. And like I like to end every episode on, go Bulls. Love you guys. See red if you can, y'all. Peace.
This has been a presentation of the Break Media.